Might as well get started. We will see who joins. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Let me open my screen share. Hopefully this works. All right. Double the streams, double the fun. Okay. I'll wait for a few more folks to join, but let me give you an overview of what I'm seeing in the week at least. I think it's going to be pretty choppy for the most part. I'm very cognizant of this high here at 697. I think we can go test it. I just don't know when. It could take like a couple days. But I do think we're going to go head down for a little bit before going up. Like last week felt like a perfect bear trap. This feels like a perfect bull trap. So we got traps on traps. It's not ideal. Yeah, gold and silver looks like they want to pump, but you will see what happens there. Looks pretty optimistic. They kind of prevented a disaster here. If I look at it on the daily and the 4 hour, it looks like it was going to dump, but they defended this area, so I'm happy with that, because otherwise you would have got this. But instead we got this, so I think it's going to go to the upside for 120 or something. Gold, kind of the same story, but let me keep this here because I think it'll come back. Yeah, gold prevented another disaster. So I think it's going to be more consolidation and then kind of go up. And QQQs look the weakest right now for me, because if I look at it on a daily, we've been ranging on SPY and QQQ for like 8 weeks or something. Hasn't really left this range. I think we break out eventually. I just don't know when. And software is starting to catch up bids. If I look at IGV, for example, like they ended up preventing a total disaster here on the daily. I think pre-market, they probably gapped up a little bit. And I do like weeklies on this as well, because I think the fears around AI were probably overblown. So I think this is going to go up towards that 94 area in the next 2 weeks probably. And then going back to SPY, this is really what I'm seeing today. I think it's more on the downside than it is upside, but we'll see. I'll give it like a couple of minutes for others to join.
So for SPY, is it because like it hasn't broken out of the previous level at 691?
Yeah, we haven't really closed above it, so I'm a bit more cautious towards the downside, right?
Right.
And then we also have this head and shoulder pattern, right? So you have your left shoulder here, you have your right shoulder here, you have your head there.
Right.
But then the opposite is also true. Like you have a inverse head and shoulder, right? You have your inverse shoulder, you have your inverse head, and then you might have an inverse right shoulder, so you might go up. But as it stands right now, because we don't have the right shoulder yet on the inverse side, I think it's going to go down more to grab this liquidity from this imbalance at 683. And that's really what I'm watching for.
But you still swing call like 704 call and 691 put at open?
We don't have to be rushed into anything. We can be patient on buying calls, right? So I'm actually going to not buy the weekly calls just yet, because I already have, I think I have like tomorrow or Wednesday, 700 calls just to see what would happen. I think it's actually tomorrow. So what I did was on Friday when I sold 690 calls, because they were in the money, they were end up like 100%. I bought the 700 strike for tomorrow. So I'm not in a rush, right? They're only like $12 anyways. I only have 2 of them, so I don't mind. And that's usually what I do is like when I find that I'm profitable with a couple of trades or like a specific swing that I did, for example, the 690 swing, I'll just take a higher strike, whether that's 695, 698 or 100, whatever that is. I'll just buy that higher strike because I know for the most part, if I made money on a lower strike, then the higher strike doesn't feel like it's, like if it's profitable, great. If it's not profitable, then I don't feel hurt that it's gone to zero, right? So I already have the 700 call for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to hit, so I might roll this to Friday. But we don't have to rush into buying calls, knowing that there's going to be cheaper calls when we get down to this area, right? So that's when I'd be looking at buying calls. But I do want to hedge against any future risk. So on February 13th, which is that Friday, I want to buy the 680 puts or 676 puts, one of the two. And the reason for that is simply because that's where we kept testing that level over and over again last week, right? And if we look at it on the daily, it's that same story, right? We have the buyers at that 676 area. And so if they're going to do another test, right? If they do another test on this area, then I want to be hedged against it, right? Because if this area doesn't hold for whatever reason, like we're going to go down to like 664. And that's when that 676 put becomes like a 10x. And if it goes to 0, that's totally fine. Like I have other calls in the process or, other stocks that are still a bit red, but I don't want them to be too far red. I don't want to be able to like lose all the hedges if we crash, right? I want to make sure that I can profit here if there's a market crash or there's net sellers than buyers. So that's really how I position those hedges. Is to make sure that either they go to 0 or they become like a 10x play because there's a market crash that no one saw coming. So far, I think SPY looks pretty good for that downside. QQQ looks pretty weak. It looks like it's about to roll over, and you have the same story there as well. Like you have your left shoulder, you have your head, you have your right shoulder, and then it's going to go down to that area and consolidate. Gold is looking pretty good. If I look at it on a daily at least, they prevented that disaster. Maybe we undercut at that 84.30 area and then go higher. And silver, same story there. Prevented a total disaster. So maybe it consolidates and maybe we accumulate for the next couple of days and then see where that breaks out. But these accumulation periods can go a long time, right? Like all of 2024 was accumulation for silver, for example, right? And we only broke out of that at the end of the year. Same story with gold. Nothing was happening for like the whole year. We just range bounding, range bound. And then you get into like 2025 and then all of a sudden it's going up, right? So these things could take some time. We have no idea. But if you do want to hedge outside of just puts, you could buy like gold calls, silver calls, VIX calls, whatever it may be. Actually, that might be a good hedge as UVIX. And just get calls for these, or just buy commons for these, or calls even for like the end of March or something like that. And they're not that expensive. Like you can get $10 calls for like $40 probably, or buy $7 calls for like whatever that is. The spreads on these are pretty whack, so I don't know if it's the best to play at, but it is something that you could look at. And yeah, I think IGV is catching bids, so I want to see tech expand. They prevented that disaster on Friday. We caught some bids, and I think we're going to go test that 100 area because that's where your next level is for liquidity.
What do you think of IWM?
IWM looks pretty bullish. I think I already have some leaps in this, or not leaps, but was it June or July calls? I can't remember. I did those with Timmy and Easy. It looks pretty good to me. Like I think it's going to bounce. I just don't know when. It's bouncing right now on that EMA on the 9. So if I look at it here, like you're almost above it. As soon as it goes over, I think you'd be interested in buying the 267 calls for today. But I don't know if Timmy has a different opinion. And let's go review what George is saying. He's been neutral on SPY, IWM, QQQ. SPX, just because we don't have pre-market data, I can't really say anything until market opens. But he's been watching puts all morning. So I actually think he's right because that kind of lines up with my my chart here as well, where I think it's going to more likely go down towards that 686 area, test those buyers. If they're not there, it'll probably go into that 683 area. If that doesn't happen for whatever reason, or there's no buyers there, then I think it's going back to that 676 area again. So and again, we don't have to rush into anything. Like that's kind of the beauty of this whole system is we don't have to take any plays if we don't want to. They might manipulate here at open and kind of go up, tag that 691 area and then sharply reverse down. I think let's just watch and see what happens. But I will get those weekly hedges right at open because I think it's, at least for me, like that's how I play. And then those hedges start working for whatever reason by, the midweek, by Wednesday. Then I'll double down on that 680 or 676 put and then just scale out of that position by Thursday. And, maybe change 692C. We'll see. I'll give it some time though, because until the market opens, it's not the most accurate system. What is Timmy saying? Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, SFX works pretty good. And yeah, I would say like IWM calls for later of the year is probably the best move. I would even get like in the money calls for IWM. I don't think they're that expensive. Let's go check. If I buy, I think I have June calls, but if I do like May, maybe $1,000 for one, decent. You can get 270s for 1,300. The delta between like these are puts. I'm looking at the wrong thing. The delta between like buying 264 and 270, that's like $300. You might as well get them in the money, honestly. Because if you're spending $1,300 versus 1,000 on 270, that's out of the money, and you have lower risk here. So I even like the 262 calls, honestly. They're like for an extra $50, you're getting the deeper in the money. I don't know if 280 is worth it, to be honest, for me, but your call. If I look at the chart on IWM just quickly. Where are the targets here? Is this all-time high? No, all-time high is 272. If I draw a line there at 271, draw a line here. And you really don't want to close below 258, really. Then maybe 270s for May could work. 280 is probably too far out of the money. I don't think that's worth it. One of the other things I'm doing right now is setting up a position for end of the year for SPY. And they're pretty inexpensive. If I think about like, December 2026, buying the 750 strike, it's pretty good RR. Or if you want to do higher than that, you can go like 830, 840. I think those are pretty worthwhile. And the only reason I say that is because when SPY was trading at $500 last year, everyone's freaking out that we would never get to 700, but we got to 700 literally like 6 months later. So I think it's worth playing the 800 area at some point in time. They were pretty cheap last week, so I don't know if it's worth buying it here, but if you wanted to, you could. And the market opens in about a minute or 2 minutes. Let's see what we get. And the only thing I'm setting up right now is that downside hedge, and I'm not going to buy calls just yet. Let's get that manipulation candle up. I want to get the cheaper puts here. I might just do the February 13th, 676 puts. But I want to get them at a good price. I don't want to just buy the market. I just want to make sure that this is like $1.80 or something. Again, hedges are designed to go to zero. If it goes to zero, great. If we have like a astronomical market correction or crash this week, then this becomes like a really good play, and I don't lose my entire portfolio because of that. Okay, it's open. Let's get that manipulation candle up, and then I'll buy this put. Oh, sorry, at 190. What the hell? Okay, never mind. I'll buy one. Submit. And if it goes higher, if the market goes higher, I'll get that cheaper put afterwards. I think it filled already. 700 calls. Yeah, that's in 1 day. That's fine. I'll wait. 750. A couple days out. That's fine. I'll wait. And there's that sweep. I just want to play the reversal. I don't want to open anything yet. And yeah, we got that other scenario here where you have your double bottom in this area, but you might also have an inverse head and shoulder. So I just want to see what happens here. And we'll give it until 9:45. Then we will see. think my put just filled. Oh, and then I have the 600 put that I bought, as well as 650 on my main account, but we'll see what happens there. But that's a complete hedge. That's like if the worst happens and we get like that massive crash that we did last year during Liberation Day, then I'm covered. Let's see if that put filled for Friday. I think it did. I got 676? Yeah, it's at 207 instead of 192 that I got it at. Okay, if anyone got the weeklies, you're up like 2% or whatever that number is. Yeah, 2%. I don't know if you want to trim or hold, but I'm gonna hold it because I'm more worried about downside protection than capturing the upside right now. And I don't think George has opened anything, at least not from what I can see. And again, we don't have that much volume. Like it's 3.1 compared to Friday. And Friday we had a lot of volume, so maybe not. Rut bearish, IWM bearish. I feel like at IWM right now. I think he's probably right, but it probably moved too fast for him, so that's fine. Let it come to a bottom and then we'll get calls. They're probably going to liquidate all the people that went long around here. So I want to see like an undercut at that 263 area, 264 area, and then see if it comes up. So far, it's going according to plan. Yeah, you're right. 266C under 35 looks pretty good. And there's your reversal candle, but I think this is a fake out, so we'll watch. And if this goes to $1.50, I'm going to get a couple more. Okay, volume's picked up a little bit. That's cool. Let's go get 266 for today. I know it's 87 bucks. Never mind. Did it bounce like crazy? No, not yet. Okay, I'm waiting for it to come down to that 262 area because I know they've defended it quite a bit on IWM. And same thing with 263.24, but I'll wait. Okay, I'm gonna get two of these at, I want to get it like 25 if I can, because it's only 50 bucks. Didn't fill yet, but I'll wait. So the only thing I did was place an order for IWM 266C at 25. If it fills, it fills, and I'm happy. If not, then whatever. And we'll go back to SPY. So far, it's holding that shape of that drawing that I made, so we'll see. Get 14% on the 266 calls on IWM. Feel free to trim or exit. It's filled 30%. You're up 15 bucks or whatever. I'm gonna sell one of these at. I'm gonna sell one of these at 60 if I can, just to get that principal back plus $10. And we'll see where it wants to go. You're still up. Great. And your call wall on SPY at least is 690, and then your put wall is like 685, 670 in that area because you can have multiple. So I do think they're defending that 689 area because that's where the call wall is. If it gets above it, like we're going to go to like 711 by the end of the week. That's kind of where my mind is at. And you're still green on IWM calls. Feel free to scale out. George George is saying there's no volume still, so we'll wait. He's bullish on UCO for some reason, so maybe some more Iran tweets coming out. One other thing that looks pretty good to me is coin calls for the end of the week, because Bitcoin's catching bids. If I look at the coin chart, just wait for them to sweep that 156 area and then get like 164 or 170 calls for the end of the week. But I'm going to wait. And usually what I do is like I just set like an alert here. So I'll just set an alert for this area. And then once that gets triggered on TradingView, then I'll get the calls. But I'm going to watch it. Let's go see how much they are first. $400 for 170. I don't think that's worth the risk, to be honest. I'll wait till Thursday for the coin calls. There's no point rushing into it. And SPY, you're about to double top, and we'll see if it rejects or if it goes forward. If it rejects, I'm covered either way. And if it keeps going, then I'll get the 692 calls for today. If anyone rolled those 690 calls from last week, you were up like 50% still. Trim them or sell them. Whatever you want. That's really the area I'm watching for. Like 690 is a area that we haven't really closed above for weeks now. And I don't know if you will. IWM, we're still green on those calls. So if you want to scale out at 50, 40%, 50%, whatever the number is, you decide. I've already set a limit sell to sell at 60, so I'm just watching it. I don't want to rush into this yet. We'll be patient. And then I want to see if it sweeps lower now. And by the way, there's net sellers for everything right now across the board. Like all institutions are selling, all insiders are selling. So I want to see if this maintains its shape or not. If I look at the IGV, the tech sector, I think it's catching bids. So that thesis that I had earlier, if it going towards that 9600 area is pretty right, I would say. So what I'm going to do is just get IGV calls for the end of the week at probably that 86 area. The bid and ask on these is kind of whack, so I don't know if it's worth playing, but what I want to do is get that 86 at 60 if I can get it. And we'll see if that fills. If it does, oh, it filled already. It's up 4%. Crazy. Cool. Good to know. And SPY, we will watch. Oh, did he open something? He opened 694 puts on SPY. Interesting. Why did he buy them in the money? No idea. I'm not going to chase that. Instead, what I'm going to do is just watch for rejection. And double down on that put that I had on Friday because it's cheap now. And buy one more of these at 148. And hopefully that fills, which I think it will. And we'll go towards getting puts for 0 DTE. And the put that looks the most enticing is at 684 at $30. I can't believe he bought 3 contracts of deep in the money puts. Cool. Good to know, George. Good to know. I think he's right. He's probably just early, but we'll see. We'll see if he gets stopped out or not. And I'm going to get 684 put for $30. Boom. $29, whatever. You're probably green on the IWM calls, so feel free to start scaling out of those if you haven't already. I think one of my limit cells filled. Oh no, both are still there. Okay, cool. I wouldn't chase anything here. I don't think the risk and reward is there for the upside right now. So just watch. Are we green on the puts? We're green by 1% on a 684p. Okay, there's your 10% on 684 puts. Scale out if you want. Just drinking coffee there. It's really just stalled. I don't think anything's happening. Even on the 5 minute, you got your double top there. And 15 minutes, you got triple top. So we'll see if it rejects here or not. It's rejecting so far. Meanwhile, I want to see what IWM is doing. It's defending. It's defending really nicely. These are still up 26%. Maybe I'll just sell one of these and get some capital back. 1 sec. And I'll sell one at, what did I get them for? 25 bucks? Yeah, so I'll sell one of these at 40 and one at 60. And we should be good to go. And SPY. Still up on those puts. That's cool. He got stopped out, didn't he? Yep, he lost 13%. Cool. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to close that put. You're still up like a little bit, so you might as well take the win if anyone took it. And what I'll do is I'll sell this one for break even, basically. But I want to see if I can get 0.40 across the board. And we can just wait. Yeah, there's just no volume. 8 mil versus 77. All right, we'll be patient. IGV should be pumping right now. Almost there. More volume than usual. Actually, almost there. Closed position. Yeah, you got stepped out, I know. And QQQ, let's see what they're doing. Probably about the same. Maybe it goes to 650, I don't know. We'll see. If tech is cashing a bid, I know QQQ will pump. If I look at the SOX, the semiconductor, it's I think it's this. Those are catching bids for sure. Technology is getting better across the board. If I look at materials, they're catching bids as well. High beta names like Oklo should be catching bids. There it is. NBIS should be catching bids. There it is. Microsoft should be catching as well. Yep. Google. Almost there. You're almost in that accumulation. You're in the accumulation phase, so we'll see what happens here. But I think it's trying to get back to that 330 area. And let's look at Apple. Let them sweep lower so we can get cheap calls. You're into that defend zone at 274. They might actually hit pretty well. I really like Palantir calls, but I'm going to wait till Thursday because I don't want to buy it here when you have relative equal highs at 140. And what's another name I was looking at? Well, that's on my list somewhere. Just got to regenerate those in a second. Oh yeah, I was looking at Reddit. Reddit calls look pretty good. I don't know if it's worth the chase here, but it has been beaten down quite a bit, and I think they have earnings coming up. Let's look at Amazon. Nah, it's going to nuke until 198 to 100. And SPY, let's see what it's doing now. Yeah, there's no volume. Once again, 2 weeks in a row, no volume until like 2 p.m. IWM, we sold one. Have another one left. Oh no, both of them are still there. Okay, we'll wait. And SPY got those 700 calls for tomorrow, which I don't think will do anything, but it's good to have them. I might roll these to Friday instead for an extra $1. Now actually I want to get it cheaper, maybe at 85. Okay. I just want to see what happens here. If we close above 691, I'll get the 694 calls for today. Because they're only $50. I just want to see if it breaks above that head and shoulder pattern or not. The 691 area is a pretty hard problem. Let's see if it's somewhere we've rejected from time and time again. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just need a lot of volume to get above it. Oh. All right, we'll watch. I wonder if my IGV calls have filled. I think they did. And they're up, or they were up. I don't know if they're still up. No, they're down 4%. Okay, we'll wait. There's your rejection on SPY. I think George is right, just early. That's totally fine. That's why we don't chase. 684 is still green. You're up 10% once again. Take the win. Take the win on those puts. I'll fix his logic because I think he got stopped out too early. Rejected so far. Okay, you're up from 28, I think I got them at. 29 to 32. Great. This order will fill in like a second or 2 minutes or whatever. And then I'll take a lower strike at 680 or something. Okay, 20%. Still green. If I were you, I would take the win at that 10, 15%, whatever that is. Nicely done, Dutchy. Nice Dutch. Okay. That limit sell has probably filled on 684 put, so there's your 50%. Take the win, y'all. Take the win. I'm glad I doubled down on those weekly puts. 676p. Great, great. 25% on the 684s. Take the win. Okay, still rejecting. If they defend that 690 area, like I'd be very surprised. Like this whole area is what I'm looking for right now. If that gets defended, I'm gonna change my position towards getting like 695 calls instead. Yeah, I definitely was rejecting. I'm glad we were able to get some profits there anyways. And 684 puts are green as hell. I just want to see if we fill this gap here, this imbalance at 689. Then I'll close that. Well, it'll close itself because I have that limit sell in place. Once again, George was right just early. I gotta tweak his logic there. What did he say was going on here? You had normal volume. You had a breaker block and previous day high swept. Consolidation though. Okay, makes sense. Oh, and just so you know, my roll for the 700 calls from tomorrow to Friday has filled. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens there. But I really had 704 on the upside for the week. It's like right here. Let's make a green line or something, whatever this color is. And then on the downside at 680 or 676, which is that same buyer area that we've seen time and time again. Let's put that as a target. Upside target. Feb 13, 2026. And we're 676. I get rid of it. Do you know what these colors are, but okay. Okay, you're at break even on the 684 puts. If you haven't taken the win at 25, 30%, I would say exit now. This area is being defended, so I'm kind of leaning towards upside right now. The one that I'm looking at in particular is going to be the 694 call at 37. Let's get one of these done. And filled. Great. Now we watch. Apparently Tesla looks pretty good. He says buy puts on Tesla. Actually, I think he's right. 400 puts would hit. How much are they? Only $30. I'll just wait. There's no reason to rush into anything right now. All right, we'll see if volume picks up in like an hour or so. Right now, there's nothing there. Okay, we're green on those calls that we got. Now we're down a little bit, but not too much. Okay. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. I like he's watching like 692 calls for 2 days out. I think they actually work pretty well. I can also roll these, but I wanna see what happens. Just get above 691.66, please. I don't think gold and silver are doing anything interesting. Yep, same rejection spot as pre-market high. Gold, probably the same story. It actually broke through above pre-market high. Nice. The question is, did it undercut or rip or not? And go back to SPY. Oh, no, it's going to reject. All right. I'm going to cut the calls, or roll them out actually, to... Nah, I'm going to leave it just to see what happens, because I have those puts anyways. Okay, we're good. We're good. I wonder if what we should do instead is just wait until the volume picks up and then take those trades instead. But I don't know when the volume comes together. That's the thing. Volume is picking up, but I think it's towards the downside. If you look at the volume indicator, what does that show us?